This is a 11:55, which is initiate a turnaround off of 55 flip 22 on the mirror flip, which makes it 22 flip 77, raised by two masters on a knock to a knockback. So this is a public service announcement for UAW workers. The public service announcement is predicated upon some work that I done 4 years ago before the last UAW workers negotiation. Now, I had a game of corporate chess with the CEOs of the big three. I won. And in winning that, they got to get a worker everything I said, but we had ran into a problem on the international negotiating teams. These international negotiators, well, they call them the international, and they the negotiating committee for the worker. And I put them on notice for the appearance of propriety. Some of y'all that been with me for a long time or went back and watched my rants on the UAW and the big three negotiating for 4.5 years ago about this same time. And I put into action a couple of things for the worker. As one of the chiefs that's going to be part of the continuity of government, I put in a complaint with the it's in the public domain, and it was given the instructions to the Labor Review Board in DC, which is now a defunct committee. It doesn't exist anymore. And my complaint was the fact that there was ongoing indictments of United Auto Workers leadership at the time of the negotiations, which spoiled the negotiation. They supposed to maintain the appearance of propriety if they were known to be under investigation for criminal activity and they were serving indictments. The worker cannot trust anybody in that committee until the investigation is done. So I complained. And what that did was put it in a complaint about the past practices of the corrupt corporate system taking advantage of workers, right? By doing that, once the government fall, the worker is going to have the opportunity to organize the UAW to actually purchase the big three as a stock option ownership of the company. Like, you literally going to be owning the company you work for. When this is why they can't give you anything. They've been seized. All the major corporations in America has been seized for ongoing corporate fraud, defrauding the workers out of billions and billions of dollars just in the last 50 years alone. So when the continuity of government was activated by Trump and they had that complaint and they sat there and watched these motherfuckers sign a contract knowing that they were under federal investigation by the FBI. They knew it. It was not a secret. This was all going on in the public during negotiations of a contract which breached the trust of the worker. So now what happened? Now the chief seized the property for the fraud. Once they continue to negotiate in bad faith, knowing they was under investigation, they surrendered their right to negotiate. So now what we're looking at is, it's not really, the company can't give you nothing because the big three can't negotiate right now. The company's been seized. They just not telling the workers. All corporate assets, what we call Fortune 500 companies. Why you think Rupert Murdoch stepped down? He bankrupt now. He's finna go probably dive off of a real high bridge with a real short rope and bungee jump by his neck. That's if he even still really breathing. He might already be food for the fishes. But in the process of protecting the interest of the people, all I had to do was put it on the public record as a public complaint. So I put the public complaint out there because I know that this is about to close in for continuity of government. And then they're going to run this whole campaign of Biden fiasco. And then from there, the people not going to even be paying attention while everything is being restructured in the background. They came with a false prophecies. They misinformed prophets who was channeling without being properly instructed on how to really translate what they reading to regular people, so they only see the doom and the gloom because they didn't ever flip that shit. They didn't ever flip that shit. As above, so below. When the spirit realm show you something, you have to learn your inner language so you can know how to flip the message. Because if you don't, when you looking, you're going to see what look like gloom and doom. I don't see no gloom and doom. Only thing I see is a scripted event signed in soul contracts where a bunch of kids leave on the same day. And the only thing I can tell you is take your babies out of school, because unless they got one of them contracts, you probably won't listen to me if they do, because these schools, this is what they finna do. The system is trying to force the parent now to pull their children out of school. The beginning of corporate shutdown is already underway, because you see that GM, Chrysler even changed their name. They new name in all caps, Stellaris. Right? Homonym, still Atlantis, motherfuckers. And what we looking at is a hostile takeover by the outlaw tribes, by a certain oral tradition of the people, to override the corporate jurisdiction of the legal fiction. Once we did that, all we have to do is fight for what's right and tell the truth. And then the rest of the chiefs will sign off and say he right. Let's make this happen on the backside of the flip. Now, the worker going into a situation where they will be they won't be employees no more. Like, imagine that. Like, you always fighting with management. Now management gonna be working for the people on the floor, and it ain't gonna be the other way around. That's the flip. When y'all realize that I already put them on notice. If you go to my Facebook, I'm gonna show y'all what to look for so y'all can read this for yourself. If you go on Facebook, type in corporate chess. Hit the search. I'm glad I'm going in on my backup page too. Go to post. Then go to post from on the setting on the right of the space bar. And then type in My name, Rod Hayes, RODHAYES. Yep. And then show results. I'm gonna put this right here and flip this camera so y'all can show y'all what y'all looking at. This is why they can't get no contract right now. How do I flip this motherfucking camera? There we go. This is the post you looking for. UAW, greatest win in U.S. history. Thank you, POTUS. Corporate chess. How about corporate chess checkmate? This the post. This is explaining it all. These is the steps, 10 moves to checkmate. Right? All of this stuff, these is receipts. These blue bars is receipts that show you each part, right? So what am I doing? Right? First, know what you have to do. Invalidate the negotiation by exposing the corruption. Announce discovery. That's that post. 2, use the discovery to issue a cease and desist order in the public domain. That's that one. Identify my allies on who is opposed to the bad negotiation practices. That's done right there. Leverage my moves by getting in tune with some very wealthy friends. And that's this post right here. Right? It say, inform the people the contract was not valid. Why? And here's that post right here. Right? All this stuff in the public domain. Right? Use political climbing to leverage above corporate president would be asked to make an ultimatum. Either get a workers' relief or we take action. This was a link to the White House response. Right? Foresight of upcoming political chess move. Bill for coronavirus was being drafted. Insider exposed information to me. COVID-19 would serve as a smokescreen to leverage presidential powers under upcoming martial law. COVID-19 relief package was introduced a full year before first case. This is how the Trump administration would be sabotaged. Here we go right here. Right? So all it is, say Carter CARES Act introduced March 2019. Right? So now these is all of the 10 moves of corporate chess, and you see that the political arena is fully involved. I'm using a system by using our oral traditions to override everything they doing. This is what you're looking at right here. So when they tell you, look, inform my coworkers, undercover boss, seeking to find workers' relief. Offer a solution to the issues. Now that's checkmate in 11 moves. All that shit right there. Look, I'm going to go up here. Look at the date. Go back up to the top. Wait. Look at the date. September the 1st, 2020. Yeah, 3 years ago. Right? Now this date is after the fact of all of these receipts. All of these receipts had already been things being done in the public domain for the corporate chess. Right? And then all of these are just the chess game. Right? So the word checkmate and checks comes from the Persian phrase shamat, which means the king is defeated. So no matter what happened, I took all they shit over. And they can't negotiate with the worker without me. Because I took all this shit over as one of the chiefs, as a war chief. For defrauding the people. You can't do that to people and think that there ain't gonna never be no consequence and you're going to indefinitely go on about business as usual, but this ain't business as usual. This a whole new animal. Right? So that's the post. When y'all go to it, make sure y'all go check it out and share it. If you know people that work for the big three, tell them this is why they ain't getting no motherfucking contract right now. Tell them Chief Pontiac Rod Hayes took over the UAW with the assistance of the CEO of the big three. All three of the CEOs was involved in it. Mary Barra was the lead. They tired of people. They all come from blue collar, working class auto workers, right? So we had a representative on the UAW side who was fighting for the interests of the worker. Her name was it'll come to me, Cindy Estrada. And she was in what we call one of Big Mama's girls clubs. We know this because they all have, in any bio, it's going to tell you what they fight for as their life purpose. They're going to have a little paragraph, and it's going to tell you what they dedicate their life to fighting for. So that means no matter what you see them doing, everything they doing is for this purpose, and hers was to protect the interests of the workers. My mama was married to my father. He was an auto worker, and he retired for medical reasons back in 2000. And her grievance, I had to go in as an auto worker. That's how I had to do the undercover boss thing before I take it over. I had to go in and find out what's wrong. Well, it's real simple what's wrong. Management don't got no respect for the workers. And corporate have no respect for anything but corporate greed. Where the International Negotiating Committee is trying to get in on the corporate greed by using their positions as negotiators to leverage people out of proper compensation for their labor. Right? They don't even know how the labor is calculated in corporate. Right? So if you don't know how the labor is even calculated, how in the fuck is you going to fight for me to get my proper compensation? So for every dollar that the worker deserved, they was getting paid sharecropper portions of it and didn't even know it. Then this is the part that's going to blow everybody back. They said they stopped pensions. No. When they stopped giving the pension to the worker, they kept that motherfucker for themselves. This is what they didn't tell you. It's called a secret pension fund. And what the secret pension fund is, anybody that retire, instead of them collecting the pension, it goes into upper management coffers in order for them to have petty cash to make their international trips. They was living off the retirement of the recentest retirees who didn't have a pension program because they was getting this newly 401k shit. Right? So they was frauding the people the whole time. Like, we ain't gonna never figure this shit out. Been stealing from the worker the whole time. Look, the corporate America work hand in hand with political America. Political America works for financial interests from overseas. Political America is the ones who pass the legislation to increase things that causes the inflation to go up, to make the value of the dollar go down at the beck and call of international bankers using fractional reserve banking and inflation as a way to slowly eat away the workers' wealth. They don't want you to be independent. Look, nobody shouldn't have to work 12 months out the year. That's not normal. You work seasonal jobs according to your tribal heritage, right? Like some people love being out in the snow. Some people can't stand that shit. The people that love being out in the snow is the ones who do the snow removal in the winter. Them the ones that you call in to, work the power lines in the winter. It's seasonal. Humans are seasonal working creatures. Some of us in the wintertime go through what's called seasonal affective depression, which is your natural instinct to want to hibernate, but because you living in two worlds at the same time, the physical body can't hibernate for you to go back up there and do your other shit before you come back down and do this shit again. So since the physical body can't hibernate, it keeps you attached to the physical realm. And that's why you think this 3D shit more real than the real shit. But when you experience the real shit, you be like, what the fuck? I thought that shit was real. Then you realize this 3D shit not real. Whatever the fuck this shit is, I got a lot of explanations. I'm looking at a holographic projection using the Dark Knight satellite and the moon, and it's starting to look like the moon is actually the lens projector projecting the 3D imagery onto the earth. Now, if this is true, that means all they got to do is change the programming of the projector, and it'll change our perception of the events on the earth without ever actually coming down here to do shit. Like, they don't really need heart if we in the 3D hologram. All they need to change is the computer code from the hologram. And then it's going to run a different simulation through there. And that next simulation comes in and it make you think that there's really some shit happening that's not happening. So, the good thing is now, with the access of this military-based communication system called the internet. Most of us don't know this shit military than a motherfucker. It was always under the control of the military, specifically the U.S. military, but then it expanded out and became a network used in spy rings to transport information around the world. Now we think because we change our privacy settings that this shit's still not military information gathering. Why do you think the algorithm is so important? The algorithm is so important because when these motherfuckers know where your man at, they know what to blow up next to get your attention away. But when you start going through that, that poker face shit that Gaga was telling you about, you can't let them see what's on your poker face. Right? Kenny Rogers say you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run, motherfucker. But some of us, we supposed to be running and we standing there looking down the barrel of the motherfucking gun that's about to take our motherfucking existence out the 3D realm. Well, the moon is, it's some strange shit. The moon is not normal. I know there wasn't no moon when I was here a couple of times ago. Then I popped up in this moon shit here, and I got clear memories of one of the moons of Saturn. Is it Saturn? The great judge. Yeah, Saturn, Jupiter the gift giver. One of the moons of Saturn is called Lilith, and it used to cause the night sky of Earth to be fluorescent like you under a black light in the disco hall. When that shit first came out and they put them black lights in there, I had a fucking aha moment that scared the bejesus out of me because I did not understand at that time what the fuck just happened to me. It gave me a whole Lilith night memory flashback where the sisters was like these white gowns they wear. You know how white look under the black light. That shit glow up. And I'm looking at the little place I'm in, and it ain't no ways near as big as this shit that I'm seeing. And I'm like, far as I can see, these sisters is doing the whirling dervish dance. And it's like hundreds of them. And that fluorescent Lilith moon light them up, and then it starts sending these circular spirals of light up off of the fucking dress while they spinning. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? It took me years to realize that they don't do that on Earth no more. Like, what the fuck? That shit was intense. Because those women that was doing that dance was also in tune with their full feminine quality, the highest aspects of the femininity. And so when they was doing it, they was able to alter the entire frequency of the planet in a day. We don't like the way this shit going. Sister, let's get together. Let's go out here and dance in the night. That's what the whole dancing in the moon shit came from. The moon wasn't fucking there. It's something with this motherfucking moon shit. These sisters learn how to use this shit because it was put up there to take their ability to regulate their menstrual cycle away from them so that it be forced. So now women don't have babies because they choose to. They have babies when the moon tell them to. That's not fair. This is why you got abortions now. That's not normal. You know I'm supposed to go in no woman's uterus while God working and crafting some shit and slap the motherfucking plate off the table? That's not normal. But it became normalized in an abnormal world where everything is upside down and backwards. Now, when we look at it, it seems like, what's the big deal? It's just an abortion. That soul coming back. If you die, motherfucker, you coming back to bring that soul back through you because you supposed to did it the last time and you ain't learned your lesson yet. And that carry karmic debt with it that weighs heavy on the soul. That's why I don't get in no woman way. You gonna do that shit? Do you don't understand the karmic debt you incur by cutting off Big Mama's creation in the process? When there's nothing wrong with it. Now it's like they create birth defects in these women now. So now when they doing it for birth defects, but some people's, this crazy. I was in maybe 7th grade and there was a girl in a wheelchair. To everybody else in the building, she just looked like she had the palsy. But when she looked at me and we caught eye contact, she told me telepathically only way they would let her into the earth realm to experience life in the 3D, they had to give her a broken body so that she wouldn't be too powerful and fuck the simulation up or the program up. And I'm looking like, what the fuck is this? I don't know nothing about telepathy at the time, but I'm looking at the little girl. She looking me right in the eye. She look at me and she, you know how they do when they had a palsy, but she locked her gaze and I'm like scared to fucking death because I have no frame of reference for what I'm experiencing, nobody to talk to but my mama. And this was so scary to me, I never talked to my mama about it because I don't get scared easy. But it wasn't like a fearful scared, it was more like a confusion that had a tinge of fear laced in it. Like, I ain't never been this confused before. So how do I figure out what the hell going on? So a lot of highly evolved beings come in distorted bodies so they won't fuck up the system. I'm like, holy shit. And mama said, everything got a purpose, even if you don't know what it is. Everything got a purpose, even if you don't know what it is. So now my shit, well, how the fuck do I find out what it is? Study. And she used to always quote some Bible verse that I used to hate to hear when she would say, well, you smart, you'll figure it out. Study yourself to show yourself approved. And I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about in these riddles? Always telling me these riddles and codes and shit. Tell me something what I need to fucking do so I can just go do it like Pops do. Mama's teaching wisdom. Pops teaching knowledge and understanding. How to stand up like a man. Mama teaching you how to fight spiritual warfare in the midst of being a man in the physical world. I'm like, why in the fuck is they got my brains fucked up like this? They hadn't synchronized yet. So it was all shit going all crazy, different ways and shit. But then I started to see clear. Got a lot of motherfuckers food. This shit ain't over, but it's about to culminate into a finale. Look, I'm gonna throw a couple codes out there. You know the emergency broadcast from whoever the fuck is sending it is on 10-4. 10-4 is a trucker flip. This is a truckers union flip, right? So don't think, now it's at 222 on 10-4. 222 means 2 raises the level of something. In this particular case, they sounded an alarm. It's supposed to be a all devices alarm, which is a total alarm. 10-4 is a confirmation on CB lingo from a trucker, right? 10-4-23 equals 19 is the sacred seal and the Shriner's knot, right? So now we're looking at a sacred seal on a 10-4 good buddy. Breaker 19, open up the channel, right? Breaker 19, open up the channel. So the channel now open. Hey, come through Breaker 19. What channel you on? Right? Log off Teddy Bear. We rolling over to a 4-corner square. So we go to channel 4 now. Click, click, click. So we CB talking. CB is shit. I forgot what CB stands for, but it was I think it's like some like communications band or bandwidth or something. But anyway, the CB lingo of the truckers, when the truckers union is not supposed to move when the chiefs say stop. They're the only ones that the natives can shut down by telling their union shut it down. Because they chartered by the natives, by the non-contract tribes. See, the truckers had a brotherhood too. They was transporters of merchandise for Big Mama going back before Columbus ever got here. Back then, we used different means of transportation, but they were still truckers. Right? Modern day bikers is Viking nomads who got a charter. It's called a Mother Charter 13. That's a Queen Mother seat. That's Big Mama giving them a charter to roam the land as nomads as long as they keep civilians out their business and they stay out of the way of the civilians. They supposed to have freedom to do their life. Our rule on the land is your own vine and fig tree. That means if somebody come over here and give one of the chiefs a book and say, this is the greatest book that the world has ever seen, and we want you to use this book to teach your people. He ain't never supposed to teach that shit the same way them motherfuckers teach it. Because that's how we got trapped with that Bible shit, with that Quran shit, and that Torah shit. Elijah Muhammad did it exactly right. He did it exactly right. He took the Quran and the Bible that they came over here with, and he taught it under his own vine and fig tree that produced functional fruits to go out and capitalize on their own vine and fig tree using the same pattern, but a different motherfucking book. So now you look around and you see more potential leaders, but they all scared to act. COINTELPRO got niggas terrified to be the leader of any motherfucker that look like us. That's that COINTELPRO, a bad motherfucker. Look, that motherfucking nigga, J. Edgar Hoover, he was he might have been a foul motherfucker, but that team that he had put that shit together, them niggas was wicked. And do not believe for 1 minute they some pale-faced Europeans. J. Edgar Hoover was just passing. And then he was out front because he was the lightest of the batch. What the? Anyway. I got a few in here, but this song I don't want to like. Excuse me, y'all. So that whole onslaught of COINTELPRO, usurping of the leaders, stopping the rise of any potential leader who would incite the masses, it's just one problem. They not gonna never be able to stop no righteous shit from overcoming some bullshit. It's just not gonna happen. Right? You can lock some of us down for most of our life, but one of us gonna figure it out. One of us. It just take one. So I was sitting listening to some music, unwinding after I sent my god babies back home. And Big Mama said, you might as well tell them why they not getting no contract. I was like, them motherfucking UAW motherfuckers ain't listening to me. She said, just tell them anyway. You got to put it in the public anyway in order for it to be actionable. So this was a public service announcement for that. The whole thing is the audacity of leadership is very audacious. And I'm going to tell you what I said before. The audacity of leadership is to dare put your motherfucking shit on the line to fight for a motherfucker that don't know how or can't or won't fight for theyself, and they showing the fuck ain't gonna do it for you. Similarly situated, they not gonna fight for you, but you just do that shit because it's right, and that's how you raised. Right? If you raised right, raised on the straight bump, then you can learn to correct your error ways on your own. You don't need nobody. But when you ain't raised right, you don't got no frame of reference to start building shit on. I got a late start. I didn't even learn how to read till I was in my 20s. I thought I knew how to read. I was what you call a functional illiterate. I used to go through and I could read like a paragraph, but my words, sentences to start crossing the more I start reading, because my eyes, my optic nerves weren't conditioned to scanning the page, right to left. And at the time, I didn't know nothing about no other languages. So I had to learn this English shit. Then, here goes something else I gotta tell y'all. Pay attention to that Chrysler, all caps, new name. Right? Now, in ancient Kemet, we didn't have lowercase letters. That's a Europeanized adaptation of Semitic languages by creating upper and lowercase lettering. In Kemet, every word that would be written in block form was an acronym. That's why they always had to be capital, because every word in the original Hebrew Bible is an acronym for some more shit. Like every letter in the Hebrew language is a whole story unto itself. And when you gonna grow up knowing that shit, you won't never know the rest of the story. You always be left in the void. Right? So that's where we were. So I had to go back. I had to do all this linguistic research shit, looking for patterns of recognition in order to be able to comprehend how these languages are translated, what these words mean in other languages. I never became fluent in them, but I studied them enough to know in the English language, how is this affected in English? Because a lot of English words are Sanskrit, Semitic, and Asian words that's adapted into a codex that was created under the Greek lettering system and then under what's called the Romanized lettering system, which is depending of Latin. The Latin was the dirty Moors language. The Greek was the Hellenistic matriarchal language of ancient Greece. So when we looking at this stuff, we not taking none of that into account in anything we study. Like, the origins of this shit is important, but only certain people that's a stickler for detail ask detailed questions. I don't say nothing. I'm going to observe how a thing works, and then I'm going to follow it back to its source. Because when you know how a thing works, you know the nature of the thing that's in it. Some people come in innocent love, right? But some people come with a rotten heart in the false pretense of love concealed by sweet affection. You got to know how to know the difference. That's how we end up in what's called a toxic relationship, right? We end up in a toxic relationship because we can't distinguish good people from bad people based on how they look. The human is the only animal that's both predator and prey at the same time. And it's also the only animal where the predator and the prey is indistinguishable one from the other. And on top of that, predation of the cannibalizing of a species is more prevalent in the humans than any other species of animal on the planet. And there's a lot of animals that'll eat their own species, but they don't really like that shit. Humans are more carnivorously predacious of human flesh. They got more of a taste for human flesh than any other animal on the planet. There's no animal that just naturally say, yeah, I'm going to the city today, grab me a couple of them humans for a snack. There's no animal that does that. Everybody that you know to ever get attacked by an animal was walking in that animal habitat and upset the balance in nature, and nature reacted. Hardly ever do you see something. Look, humans think that they can just continuously kill shit and don't piss off the spirit responsible for stopping you from killing that shit. The lion is represented in every culture by a different spirit of lion that's a badass motherfucker and protects all cats. And then you think that shit cool for you to go out and take your pictures shooting a lion, never knowing that, keep doing that, and then all of you innocent bystanders that's watching, you onlookers, the sealer, the one who ain't saying nothing, is bad as the dealer, the one doing the dirt. You sit there and watch a motherfucker do dirt and you got the numbers, but you won't say nothing. You got the power, but you won't say nothing. And you watching this motherfucker hunt this. You know what nature gonna do? Nature gonna wake up some lions from cubs. Gonna watch one of these motherfuckers kill their mama in the field, and he gonna have a taste for human flesh from that day on. And we so smart, we not gonna even know that we the cause of it. Nature, look, I'm gonna tell you a good story to read. Get the book, Autobiography of a Yogi. And it's the story of the Tiger Swami. You might be able to find online the Tiger Swami story from Autobiography of a Yogi. That's just that one chapter online. But the book, Autobiography of a Yogi, is one of the baddest months I ever read. I knew everything he was talking about, and I had to keep stopping and be like, why in the do I know this shit, right? And it was like so intriguing, and I was being drawn in. I was walking in the streets of India with him and Sri Yukswar. We was going down to see all of the saints in the villages, and he was talking about he was talking about the female yogi that never eats, and I was sitting in there while she was explaining it to him, and they was cooking. I was in the room, and that was my first experience of remote viewing before I even knew what it was. At the time, I didn't know it was remote viewing. But I was remote viewing based on his description. He was able to bring me all the way to India from the goddamn penitentiary. And that's some freedom for your ass. Right? So the Tiger Swami This motherfucker, one of them big burly niggas. And he walk around, he's naturally muscular. And he just be pounding them tigers to death. He could go fight a tiger, and they try to find the meaner and meaner tigers. So some prince was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a tiger for your ass." And the tiger swami said he must have went and found the enraged, incarnate spirit of the tiger god. I almost didn't survive. And that motherfucker tearing his ass up. He only reason he was able to win because the motherfucking fight or flight kicked in, and he finally figured out how to overcome that tiger, was tearing his ass up. He said, "Now was the last time I ever wanted to fight a tiger in my life." You know, but nature gonna protect itself. You don't think that sooner or later, if we use the culture and nature to just do what the fuck is right, it might look like evil prevailing for a time, but the bill always comes fucking due. And somebody has to be responsible enough to learn what's necessary in order to collect that motherfucking debt. And I'm here to tell you, I didn't put it all out there. If a motherfucker don't think that I'm competent to come and get y'all shit, y'all can cut me the fuck off. Cause I'm telling you, I stuck foot to these motherfuckers' ass in the last 4 years. I'm talking to y'all, but I'm giving them motherfuckers instructions on how to move. Right? I'm putting it in the public domain. All they got to do is follow it just like I tell it. Right? So there's so many things, astrological events that's happening at the same fucking time as the motherfucking alarm. That's when my attention got. When the things we do on Earth is perfectly timed to some crazy star shit, that's when I know to pay fucking attention. Something about to happen. Something about to happen, something about to happen. I don't know what the fuck it is. But I can tell you when Earth shit and crazy star shit is happening at the same time and they both big deals, that's a fucking big deal. I know that. I can put that together. See, I can read this shit in real time, but if I go too far ahead, it get hazy. It get confusing. So I let the oracles, because I can watch them translate or deliver a message from Big Mama as an oracle message. And I can see everywhere where they didn't learn or where they weren't properly taught by a real reader or priest, they self-taught. And they didn't know enough to know that there's certain little tricks to see clearer what they seeing. So I turn those little nods and fine-tune a message, and I can see further than they explaining. So it allowed me to see deeper into what they explaining. So that opens up psychic pathways, and it's like mentally traveling through a vortex to see some shit. Because when you're looking at it from the mind's eye, it don't look like you looking at it from the naked eye. The whole perception is different, right? And this psychic shit, I'm telling you, as each new psychic ability turned on, I got quite a few of them. They all scared the shit out of me when they first turned on because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But I'm a quick study. I don't tell people what the fuck I'm looking at, but I know I'm seeing some shit. Because when you try to tell people, they dissuade you from looking at long enough to determine what you see. They don't want you looking at shit too long. They call you an overthinker because you thinking over their motherfucking head. Look, while Albert Einstein is working on the theory of splitting the atom, I never heard nobody say he was in there overthinking. He raised his level of thought to be able to write a mathematical formula that's explaining how to split an atom. But the regular person that's trying to figure out what Einstein's seeing when he's writing this formula for splitting the atom, try to talk to his homeboy, and his homeboy said, man, you thinking too deep into that shit, man. You gonna get a headache. Yeah, that's called creating new neural pathways, motherfucker. That's why you get a headache. That's a good thing. Believe me, I done went through the scorchers of them. Right? Tesla, Tesla was he was from Venus. He wasn't no Earth motherfucker. But anyway, Tesla would see an invention in his mind's eye. Right? And he would focus so intently on, he could take it apart in his mind's eye. And he can see where anybody that else looking at it would possibly make an error. In his mind's eye, he can correct the error so that the machine run the way it's supposed to run. If he make a mistake in his mind's eye, he can correct it before he produce it. Therefore, it is produced without the defect. And this is called holographic mental imagery. And you able to use this, but it's called having crystal lenses in which to look through. You're looking through a spectrum of light that's honed in through a crystal that's putting a projection on the inside of the crystal. This is the primer for beginning the function of using your holographic mind matrix and using it as a projector to see images. Children do it naturally, but we teach them not to do it because we make up all of this shit to build their ego. We have to build them an ego to function in the current society, even if we don't know it. So it's because the humans is pack animals. So we have to know how to survive amongst the pack of animals that's roaming the land. And when they not from here, like I can spot a motherfucker that ain't from America walking down the street. I was locked up with one of my best buddies. He from the Mende tribe in Sierra Leone. The first day I seen him, I said, that nigga ain't from over here. Where he from? And everybody bust out laughing. They was just like, he African. I said, he ain't one of us. He cool. I mean, I don't got no problem with him, but he ain't from over here. And then when I got to talking to him, we got to talking, and I was explaining to him, like, man, I know you ain't from over here. You don't got none of the energy these niggas over here got. You totally out of place to me. And then we end up chopping the game up, hitting it off, being real tight. Real jam. Yeah. I'm not going to take no callers tonight. I had to get that public message out and let these motherfuckers see why ain't no contracts moving. They going to come up with some fake shit. But all that shit been seized. All that shit part of the continuity of government resource reallocation program. And it's going to allow the worker in the near future to have the opportunity to own the companies that we call the big three. And then you'll probably merge into one united auto workers across the land type deal where it's a family tradition to work there and you get your stock options and retirement options all set up by motherfuckers that work and got the same vested interest you do. When you take that kind of bullshit out the game, that's how you win. Just don't deal with the people. Address the bullshit in the public domain. It has to be answered. You got to find the answer when it come up if you ain't keeping track. But that's why most of us don't use these tribal methods no more, is because you have to be very observant to political climates and different things of what's going on across the land. Like when I was doing a thing with AI today, and I was asking about non-treaty tribes strategies to fend off colonizers. And one of the things it said was that we would financially assault their finances. And I'm like, ain't that something? Because when I started telling the OGs was asking me in Cali what to do, organize first, then hit them motherfuckers in the pockets. Hit them in the pockets everywhere they turn. Make insurance companies pay absorbent amount of money, and them motherfuckers gonna bag out. All of them gonna bag up. Because out of everybody, the insurance companies hate to pay the most. And the consumer or the business person, I should say the proprietor, if he doesn't have any insurance, he can't replace the lost stock. This is exactly the reverse of what they did at us with the sharecropping shit. See, they would come in and burn our crops, but they wasn't burning the crops just to burn the crops or to be racist. That was strategic. You burn the crops. Now the sharecropper can't pay on the loan that he was tricked into in this sharecropping agreement, and you can foreclose on the land. Burn that motherfucking nigga fields up. First chance you get. Hell yeah. So we can run him up out of here. And he end up working at a factory in fucking Indiana or Michigan, some goddamn where, because he done got motherfucking shenandoed out of his motherfucking property that he had in his family for a fucking 1,000 years or more. And they telling him, you can't pay this sharecrop agreement, motherfucker. You got to get off my land. And then they going to bring in the whole fucking state police force from every fucking division to run you off your shit. And it's just you and your babies and probably the old lady. And you like, what the fuck just happened? I never seen that coming. My great-grandmama lived in this house. And her great-grandmama lived in this house. And all of a sudden we got to leave? What the fuck kind of shit is this? This is not normal to us. We don't know nothing about people being displaced. Where in the fuck that shit come from? Like, displaced people. How do you displace people? Mama say you can't throw people away like trash? That's the dumbest shit in the world. Just gonna throw somebody away. Yeah, we done with him. Throw him away. Let's get another one. Yep. That don't even make sense. But see, that was the position. Well, a lot of us don't know. When the Moors in Europe would conquer or would capture POWs, they put them in bondage. The ones that that didn't have enough status in their own community to be ransomed back was put into bondage as servants and called pets. So now these people have no way of resisting calling paleface pets, right? They have to do it at the close of the age to reveal who they is, right? So the people that they was holding as pets end up with the jurisdiction to punish their ass, and we got caught in that shit because mama said the good had to suffer with the bad until we get this shit straightened out, right? The original motherfuckers that came over here in shackles and chains came from Scotland and Ireland at the hands of the goddamn Dutch, Portuguese, and the French and the Spaniards. That's what them the slaves, the white niggas. That's what they call them. Google it. It's not even hard to find this shit. Like, just Google white niggers and they gonna tell you they was from Ireland. They was the Irish. Them the original niggas. We was negus, Negus. We was them motherfuckers, them serpent kings. But we ain't know nothing about no motherfucking niggardly motherfuckers. We didn't know nothing about that shit. That shit don't got nothing to do with us over here. But we done took on everybody else's filth in order to transmute that shit into something good. We took everybody else's dirt and mixed that shit with our suffering and our blood in order to make it fertile where it was once barren. We don't even realize at this point the magnitude of the importance of those people that came over with the genetic defects to get a drop of this native blood from over here. We don't know how important that shit is yet. But these scientists is going to eventually have to come out and tell you. Right? Look, these Diet woke niggas. No, can't none of them tell you why in the fuck is Maman Brigitte in the goddamn Orisha. Where's this motherfucking ginger-haired white girl come from? Why is she in Orisha? And she got juice, baby. She got the juice. She walked with the motherfucking Baron himself. Y'all motherfuckers better watch what's paying attention to what's going on around y'all. Y'all sitting here watching these stage shows because you've been foregoing your spiritual development in order to stay in servitude to a system that was only here to make you serve it. If you want to be of service, serve your family first. Be of service to your loved ones first. That's going to make you worth more to the world around you. Intrinsic value of the self. Make yourself valuable by being useful, not by being misused. You motherfuckers is getting pleasure out of trauma bonds and misuse. You thinking that that's the motherfucking way to get to the motherfucking... That's not going to get you to the bag. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Putting yourself deliberately in fucked up positions will never get you to the bag. You will get a payout probably in the next life because you're too busy putting yourself in harm's way in this one to ever change that shit around and get to the payout. Right? So these people told you what they was going to do to you, convinced you to let them do it, and now you fighting to continue to keep them doing what they've been doing the whole time. And the only thing you had to do is divorce the system. Separate from this motherfucker and watch it fall. Leave corporate America stranded. If you work there, you probably gonna own it in the aftermath. Ain't gonna be no poor people because they gave us two choices, the have and the have-nots. We choose to have no have-nots. That's what we choose. We don't want to have no have-nots. Don't make no sense. Look, I ran into one of the bank accounts in the Philippines through tracking back the money through the central banking system. This motherfucker got $385 quadrillion. That's not no motherfucking yesterday money. You talking about old money? That's motherfucking Pharaoh money. $385 quadrillion. Now, at that time, they said it was roughly 4 billion people on the planet, right? And if you gave 4 billion people $1 billion, you wouldn't even dent that 135 quadrillion. You wouldn't even make that motherfucker limp. Like, it would be so minuscule that you won't even realize that that money was even taken out of the coffer. That's how much money 385. You get everybody on earth $1 billion. You can make everybody a billionaire. But guess what? Who gonna work? Who gonna run the place where you like to go get your food from? Your McDonald's, your Wendy's, your Burger King, your Taco Bell. Who gonna work there? Everybody got $1 billion now. Who gonna serve you? Right? The only way to make any of that shit functional, people got to get bored. Who gonna drive your motherfucking yacht for you? Your cruise liners for your Carnival cruises. Who gonna be the driver? He got $1 billion too. Ain't no big eyes and no little U's at this point. It's like we all playing with the same bill ticket, right? We all got Beyonce money, Jay-Z money. Everybody. Okay, now what we gonna do? What are we gonna do in order to continue and uphold a social fabric that's functional when everybody got $1 billion? A baby can go into the candy store and say, I want the whole motherfucking thing. But who gonna be working there? Why would you work in the candy store if you're a billionaire? Why? Right? So what it is you have to give a people a means to rise to their level, and that's where they stay. Right? Oppression only going to allow you to stay at the bottom as long as you can stand it. Some of us can stand it longer than others, like me. I don't give a fuck if I don't got nothing. If my people ain't happy, I ain't gonna never be happy. So, I don't matter if I got nothing or if I got everything. If my people ain't happy, I'm still not happy. I don't want to be about a bunch of miserable motherfuckers and I got everything, and that's more miserable than them. I got everything in the world I want, but all my people miserable. What? That logic is, so it got to be some kind of mechanics in play. And this is why everything is done through priesthoods, because it's a caste system, but it's not a caste by demand. It's a caste by selection, right? People become competent in certain things, make it a family tradition to perform the function for the society, and nobody won't need no goddamn check. We all billionaires. We just doing shit because we need to be doing something. We don't, a lot of motherfuckers think that they don't want to go to work. It's not that you don't want to go to work. You don't want to be forced to work somewhere you don't want to be, around motherfuckers you don't want to be around, doing some shit that you don't want to do for 8 hours a day, a third of your life. No, that's where the problem is. So instead of laboring for dollars, shit, find you a labor of love. Do something you love to do. And the money is a side effect to that. The wealth is a side effect. When you doing something that you love to do, some motherfuckers, you put them in front of a computer and that motherfucker light up. I ain't talking about a computer screen. I'm talking about the open computer. You open that motherfucker up where all of the guts and circuits showing, and these motherfuckers get so goddamn glad they get to work on this shit. They get this excitement and this rush because that's what's in their blood. That's what their program is. That's where their life pleasure is derived from, that challenge of developing that product. And they stole that because it's a certain kind of euphoria that comes with doing the labor of love that you can't never get working somewhere you don't want to be, around some motherfuckers you don't want to be around, doing some shit you don't want to do, and not even getting paid the value of the work you putting in. It doesn't make sense. So the continuity of government got the whole corporate America seized. The Wall Street been closed. This shit y'all been seeing that they say is trading on Wall Street, it's just a bunch of goddamn numbers on a ticker that make it look like something happening, but ain't none of that shit going on for real. Wall Street was seized at the same time that the Vatican's assets were seized. The International Stock Exchange, where they traded in batch roll birth certificates, and they stole money out of your Social Security account through there, all that shit been seized. And motherfuckers not paying attention. They think Donald J is just business as usual type dude. First of all, he didn't run for this to be business as usual. That's the kind of businessman he is. He's in it because he loves doing business. He don't give a fuck if he hold on to the money or not. As long as he get to make a business transaction and win, or come up with a hard opponent that he got to outwit in a business arena, yeah, that's his heaven. He's living his heaven going up against these motherfuckers after they told him that if he side with these hip-hopping thugs, these motherfucking outlaws, these motherfucking renegades from motherfucking South Bronx, these motherfucking diplomats and these motherfucking, what was them, Chief War, Crazy Horse, I forgot it, Shinnecock motherfuckers. You can't be making no alliances with them motherfuckers. You supposed to be their slumlord. You know, that's how he got cool with them all. as he didn't know no better because he started in real estate as a kid. And when he started off, he got all these crackers telling him, all these old pale faces telling him how to exploit us. And he like, what the fuck kind of people is y'all? Right? So he started hanging out with us. He like, fuck them motherfuckers. And then lo and behold, he bumped into Bobby Jr. and Johnny Jr. in there. And he like, what the fuck y'all doing here? Y'all like hip hop too? They say, man, we with the culture all the way. These motherfuckers hanging out with rappers and motherfucking athletes and shit in New York. And y'all don't even know it. Y'all not even reading your own culture to know that where our influence lie, our loyalty, them motherfuckers not gonna betray us. Because they already know what the consequences gonna be. Because how many motherfuckers you done seen fucked up in your neighborhood for crossing the motherfucker out? They know what come with that shit. And we talking about a higher level of chess. A higher game of chess. Right? You not finna go in that shit with no half-cocked ass wannabe pusillanimous soft shoe ass soldiers. You going in that motherfucker with some motherfucking head busting, chest pounding gorillas. You want the motherfucking lions and the panthers. I mean, you want the motherfucking wolverines. You don't want no motherfucking butterfly. You want a butterfly to fight for you? Come on, man. We about to go to war. Bring out the butterflies. Butterflies is beautiful. But they not made to go to war. When you go into war with motherfuckers with no mercy. These motherfuckers got no mercy. They don't care how bad we scream. And we trying to go to war with butterflies. They telling our boys to be butterflies. So now we finna go to war with butterflies. These motherfuckers is bringing ravenous, disease-infested animals over here to attack us, and we going to war with butterflies. These motherfuckers and caught dragons and trained them motherfuckers, and we going to war with butterflies. Come on, man. Look, I'm all with the totem shit. Butterfly is just a messenger in the spirit realm for the tribes that deliver the messages, right? The monarch butterfly is the one who talked to the chiefs and delivered the chiefs a dope-ass message. But all it is a communication device. If you go to war, you need motherfucking fangs and goddamn claws. You don't need wings that flap around and get caught up in the gust of wind and alter an effect on the other side of the planet 20 years later. No, we need some immediate action, right? Some affirmative immediate action. Some immediate emergency compensatory action. We need some motherfuckers to stand up and be like, hey, you seeing what I'm seeing? Well, what you seeing? They tricking us. I thought that's what you was going to talk about, them tricking us over there. So, do you want them to stop tricking us, or do you want to stay tricked? No, we done getting tricked. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. So, what do? Flip the table over or just beat their ass? That's where I'm at with it. Flip the table over in front of the goddamn church and whip that motherfucker out, that tax collector out, that motherfucker usury in front of the goddamn synagogue. Beat them motherfuckers down to the corner store. Into that box they crawled out of next to the dumpster. And give that motherfucking pauper guy that's sitting there taking that motherfucker suffering, give him all that motherfucker shit. Give him that motherfucker life. Because that's why he a pauper guy. He can take that shit. This bitch made motherfucker couldn't take it, so he took it for him. Now everybody got to get what they, because it's the age of Aquarius. Everything got to be came out to the surface. All of the motherfucking dirty players, it's motherfucking time to pay the fucking piper. The bill always comes due. Good, bad, or indifferent. Everybody gonna get exactly what they earn. And only thing I can tell you is don't fucking lose your mind, because if you lose your mind, you lose your soul. That's the only way you can lose it. That's the only way you could lose it. So I think I had enough chatterboxing on this. Probably wasn't even supposed to be this long, but I done got high and I just started talking. And long as the message got across that them motherfuckers can't get shit until the motherfuckers say all hail the chief. Until all this shit come full circle. Can't do that to people. You cannot sit there and continuously do wrong to people, and Big Mama don't send one of her boys to figure out who you is, where you at, what the fuck you doing, why the fuck you doing it, and then bump your motherfucking ass straight. So if y'all know any people that work at the factories, that's a good one to share. Them ain't nothing moving. If you ain't gonna treat the people right, look, they ain't even this new negotiating committee, because it's mostly some new motherfuckers. They not all the other motherfuckers and been indicted and took out of there 4 years ago. But these new motherfuckers, they don't know that they didn't even ask for the shit they was willing to give me for the worker. The shit they asked for? Pocket change. Pocket change. How you gonna look? Your job is supposed to be able to support your life. Your life is not there to support your fucking job. That's backwards. You go to work to change the living dynamic from which you was raised to improve on a condition that's wearing thin in the social development of the family over the growing phases. Some children want to work in the profession that their parents did because they love their life that their parents provided so much that if I could just get the same job and provide the same life that my parents provided for me, I ain't worried about my children be great, right? So people along those lines, but when they using multilateral attacks to usurp the power of the next generation to be able to provide to the same level as the last generation, but don't nobody fucking know why. I'm telling you why. They are slowly eroding the value of the currency, which forces inflation up. As inflation goes up, it decreases the purchasing power. So it sounds like you making a whole lot of money when you say you making $30 an hour. But compared to somebody from 1975's purchasing power, your $30 an hour is no more than like $7 an hour back then. This why motherfuckers need two incomes now. My father worked alone. My mama didn't have to work. He was able to support us alone at GM. Of course, he had his side job, grown man. You know, he got a little hustle in him. So he put down a little hustle in, but he wasn't no drug dealer or nothing. You know, he ran the numbers. So when he did the way he did it, it is able to keep us pretty stable, right? But the things that he was able to afford working at, even his retirement, was able to sustain his life pretty much after he retired in comparison to somebody that's working there now making top pay. That's the heights of fraud. And like, y'all not even looking at the fraud. Yeah, somebody said they working for $30 an hour fixing AC units. Yeah, that's a specialty job though. You're not even supposed to be doing the skilled trade that you don't love. Skilled trade is the barrier between the working bottom and the upper class. It's the gateway. When you want to increase your wealth, you go through, you learn a skilled trade. Now you are what you on your way to being a master at something. Once you get your master, electrician, pipe fitter, whatever, heating and cooling. Once you get to be a master, now you supposed to be making fucking way like a couple $100s an hour. But they undercut the money so much that that's not the. Now, in order for you to get paid what you worth, you probably had to get paid $1,000 an hour as a master. And no company is gonna pay that now. So what they doing get cut rate workers, people that's a journeyman, pretending to be a master because he got so many hours of training in. They hire him in and they give him a master position, but they keep his pay at a cap. All that shit fraud. That's fraud on the worker. There's so many fraud. I can go over frauds in the constructs of the frauds all day, every day, for a week. For how many different ways that we are being defrauded out of our entirety of our lives. All of the goodness in our lives we being defrauded out of using the system of levies and liens. And there should be real levy and liens. Those should be real paid attention to words, because levy is Levi. Levi is the tribe of Judah. A lien is an anagram for Enlil. So, I mean, what the fuck? Come on, somebody help me with this shit. Break these people brains free from this bullshit. Man, I done did every fucking thing in the motherfucking world trying to wake these people up. I never thought we would ever fall. The tribes over here, I ain't never think we would be this dumb. I didn't think, because they actually teach us how to be dumb. And we learned so good that we became masters and experts at learning how to be a goddamn idiot. And we mastered that shit. Like, we got a monopoly on that shit. Don't nobody have a stronger monopoly on being a butt-fuggling idiot than we do. We do the dumbest shit in the... Why in the fuck is we talking about a vote? Like, motherfuckers don't even pay attention. A vote, right? Okay. We was already fucking here. You motherfuckers is making me vote on what you gonna do in my motherfucking house. What the fuck kind of psychology is they using on us? That's some real voodoo psychological mind manipulation at its highest form. They in your house telling you they brought you here from somewhere else. Bow down to motherfucking master. Now, they done brought you here from somewhere else, but they in your house, but you know you at home, because, like, I done been to this motherfucker many times, and I've always been here. I've traveled in lifetimes to other parts of the earth, but every time I get born, for some reason, I pop up as a motherfucking walking Mississippi clock of red clay dirt. Every fucking time I pop up, it'd be somewhere between Atlantic and Pacific, somewhere between motherfucking Canada and goddamn South America. I'm always popping up on this. I don't pop up in Africa. I go to Africa. When I pop up over here, I get on a goddamn boat, a plane, a fucking shit you can't even pronounce in this modern era because we don't got the words for it. Flying carpet, whatever. I can go to Africa. I'm not from over there. Every time I come back, I'm over here. When I came back as Quetzalcoatl, Kudu Khan, when I came back as the motherfucking Monkey King, all this shit, I always start out coming back. This is why when you go study some of them stories, they be like, he popped up over here, but this motherfucker popped up out of nowhere. No, that's because I left from over here and traveled over there. I left from the Americas and I fought in China. I left from the Americas, I fought in Japan. I left from America, I fought in motherfucking Ireland. I left from America, I fought in the Iberian Peninsula. I left from America, I fought in India, what we called back then Ethiopia of the East, the Eastern Ethiopia. Oh, like, what in the fuck is these people? What? Don't y'all got any memory of any of this shit? And then I'm looking at myself. I'm like, Rod, why you do this to yourself, man? You the only motherfucker supposed to see this shit this clear. You the only motherfucker supposed to see it because you the only motherfucker supposed to fix it. And then I get to getting into this Messiah complex bullshit. The God complex. Oh, you think you the only motherfucker know something now? No. You think I'm the only one? No. It's a bunch of motherfucking smart motherfuckers out here. I sit here, I go sit in motherfucking Billy Carson lectures all day. I've been doing that shit for lifetimes. Like, in past lifetimes, he's my big science brother that I used to follow around and shit. In this lifetime, I'm older than him. I think I am. He might be older than me, but I used to always follow him around, and he used to always teach me little science shit. Then I turned out to be some kind of fucking scientist. This time I had to use a scientific lens to analyze history. That shit crazy. I'm like, I know these people. I'm like, this motherfucker don't even know who I am. Like, motherfucker, I remember you. Right? We was in the bottom of the Rocky Mountains, motherfucker. Don't you remember? And even looking at me, nigga, where's you from? Never mind, man, I'm tripping. Yeah, you sure tripping. Man, I know I fought a war with that motherfucker. And motherfuckers don't remember their past lives. I never would talk about reincarnation during my studies because I always told people when they ask me, but I can't discuss that because I'm biased. Because I remember, motherfucker. This shit ain't no secret to me. I remember. I'm an eternal motherfucker for real. I fucking remember being here. Look, I don't need no shrooms. Right? I don't need nothing. Look, I could be totally butt fucking sober and get these messages coming in. I can literally feel the waves penetrating my skull right here. This called the anterior gyrus, where Big Mama sent her messages directly right here on the side of your motherfucking head. You feel that shit coming through, it feel like a motherfucker shooting you with a ray gun, and then you start hearing your Big Mama or your grandmama or your familiar elder female talking. This is your right brain, the right hemisphere. It come in right here. It's a direct motherfucking hotline. When you about Jesus on the main line, fuck this nigga, this ISIS. Fuck that Jesus shit. ISIS on the main line, on the right hemisphere, anterior gyrus, talking to your ass, screaming at your ass. Don't go in the goddamn building. It's Jason is in the building, and your dumb ass walk in the building and hurt your ankle. Come on, man. Come on. What the fuck is we doing? So I'm trying to tell y'all in terms that you can see in the experience of your day-to-day life that this shit ain't even real. This shit all made up. We following a fucking script. We following a narrative, and the narrative only end when the collective say it end. Otherwise, we start resurrecting the contract. Bringing back, but the dead, every time you resurrect this motherfucker, it's more dead than the last time you resurrected it. So now you got motherfucking mummified contracts falling into dust, and now motherfuckers' feelings hurt because they mummified contracts have been resurrected too many times, and all of them are turning to dust, blowing in the wind. That's what shit do when it decay. Eventually, when it break down to its lowest form, I don't give a fuck whether it's the mightiest oak tree or that goddamn whale in the ocean, or one of us walking around this motherfucker, we all turn back into that motherfucking dust shit. Right? These contracts is nothing different. They written on fucking paper, and they written with the appearance of legitimacy to maintain an artificial appearance of propriety in the face of the deluded masses into understanding the nature of the mental and emotional, spiritual, and political trap they got us in. Using the 5 pillars of the Roman Empire, using the motherfucking Plato's Republic, using the protocols of Zion, using the contract that they call the Bible, using the contract they call the Quran, using the contract they call the Torah, and all of them are what you call contract addendums. They all the same contract, trace right back to fucking Vatican City, where they usurped Big Mama seat, slid the gay ass Pope artificial ass up under Big Mama's seat and tried to tell us that the man was created first, and we some goddamn fools that believe that shit. We actually believe that shit. Like we fell for that shit. Like that shit worked. It's still working on motherfuckers. Like that's some very high power sorcery right there. That's some bad shit. And that's why when I used to be saying, like, why do these motherfuckers keep falling for this shit? But then I didn't realize that when you're the best student and they teaching you how to be dumb. Now remember that you're the best student. They don't want to teach you to be smart. They have to teach you to be dumb. Because, and this is crazy, because some of these people cannot possibly be this fucking dumb if they not taught how to be this fucking dumb, because nature does not naturally produce a fucking dummy this goddamn dumb. So if nature doesn't produce it, man have to intervene in order to make it come into the reality by his training and understanding of the nature of the thing in which he's trying to control. This shit ain't normal. I'm fucked up. I never knew that motherfuckers could actually think that a woman was attractive and be looked at as a predator. That I never knew no shit like that could possibly, even growing up, that shit wouldn't register to me. Like, how do you find a woman attractive, and because she's attractive and you a man, you looked at like you a fucking predator? Like, what the fuck you get this shit from? How in the fuck is y'all supposed to be making babies if all of the men that like women is predators, but the ones who turn into butterflies is safe? I don't know what to tell y'all. I don't know what to tell you. They got a whole fucking flag of marching orders in military formation. They call them parades. This is them marching their doctrine down your goddamn throat in the process of normalization, using the motherfucking colonization expansion process of indoctrination by what they call that shit. It's a term they got for desensitization by overexposure. Eventually, you're supposed to get to the point where motherfuckers be like, oh yeah, let him fuck that baby. It's not gonna never get that normal on my watch. I'm gonna complain about this shit, kicking spring to the end. This shit is not normal. It's not. We are allowing some pedophiles to tell us what's morally correct. And then we fight each other down here at the bottom to prove which side of this agenda these pedophiles gave us that we need to be following. That's some painful shit to really process if you care about humanity anywhere. Anywhere. Look, sister said the women be loving them butterflies, letting them dress and put on their makeup on. Look, they used to call them fag hags back in the day. Right? And most people don't know why they call them fag hags. Because the old hag who had lost her chances at ever settling down would surround herself with a bunch of gay men and watch them do gay shit for her pleasure. That's why they used to call them fag hags. There was an old saying that as it moved into the modern day, it went from having a direct meaning to an insinuated meaning. And the insinuated meaning was a woman who liked to hang around with gay men. Right? Some of these women will fuck you up if you say something about them little sissy boys they be with. I don't got no problem with a person that, because it is like people like, can't nobody be born gay. That's some bullshit. I've seen some babies in the motherfucking nursery when I'm going to visit people and be like, yeah, that baby right there born gay. Y'all got a motherfucking blue tag on that motherfucker. Y'all need to put some stripes on that bitch or something. That baby ain't regular. But besides that, I think that's because I can see books of life too. But I've seen children when I was a child that we as children knew they was gay. And they weren't molested gay. The ones that's molested gay, we call them converts. It ain't no different. Molested gay convert is no different than a pimp turning the hooker out on the street. It become normalized to them by repeated abuse, right? So those are the converts. Those are the ones who grow up with the bitter hatred in them and be touching on other folks' kids. Now, the ones that's not the convert, they grow up and they just want a man. They don't have no interest in fucking with nobody babies. They not a convert. The converts is the dangerous ones because hurt people, and the type of trauma that they are afflicted with is normally the type of trauma they perpetuate. This not even no, this first year introductory to psychology information that we going on. Like, it's the basics of psychology tell you everything I'm saying. Like, these people is sending in grown folks with hairy asses and hairy ass legs and thongs to traumatize the child, and we allowing it to happen. Every parent who allow their children to sit there and participate need their ass kicked. You know, not because, it's because children should be allowed to be children as long as possible. We didn't use, before oppression, the females didn't hit puberty before 18, 19. And if they was in any kind of fucking sport or any kind of horse riding activity, until they retire, they wouldn't even hit puberty. Until they stopped performing the function that required them to live in a higher masculine energy, they menstrual cycle won't even turn on. Matter of fact, if you go look at modern gymnasts, half these girls you see doing gymnastics, unless they was molested, they don't even get a fucking cycle until their 20s. They don't even get one. It don't even come on. They be in that gymnastics and they don't have no overwhelming desire for, and this is because gymnastics is an Atlantean exercise for females that has that high Shakti energy that if they don't learn how to control it, it makes them be that little hot ass girl in the street. Can't nobody tell nothing. Can't nobody control. Gymnastics was specifically to allow her to remain feminine, but at the same time develop at a slower pace so that now her emotional body, her physical body, and her spiritual body, get all three of them get a chance to align. Now when they get to be adults and they start having children, their children be more well-rounded, more functional. They took all this shit out of our culture. It's all been extracted. Ice skating. Ice skating was for those little shy, dainty girls. They be so shy that they have to be in their own zone. So you start giving them a confidence builder, and it started with ice skating. Ice skating was Atlantean. You teach them to ice skate, you build their confidence up, then you allow them to perform in front of people to further build their confidence up. Now that little shy girl that you would have been, she would have been a drug addict in the corner somewhere, is now a fucking champion ice skater going around the world living her best life because somebody understood her enough to put her in some goddamn skates when she was 3. This is our culture. This is what we trying to get back to. They got them motherfuckers, those tree walking clans. This is where you get your trapezes flyers, your flying Walendas, right? They used to live in the treetops. Them motherfuckers don't fall out no goddamn trees when they be doing that shit. They used to fly. Look, these motherfuckers used to walk treetops from what we call today western Louisiana, bordering on Texas, all the way into the Florida Keys, and don't never come down out the treetops. But these motherfuckers sent some motherfuckers called lumberjacks to decimate the land just so the treetop, they can get rid of the treetop clans, because when we fight them on the ground, they getting bombarded from the goddamn wilderness trees. They started baiting the babies because the motherfucking Sobek priests in the Mississippi and Louisiana Delta, all the way going down in through Georgia and Arkansas into the motherfucking Florida Everglades. They used to ride fucking crocodiles. You have not seen how big a crocodile can get. These motherfuckers, they turned our giant crocodiles as trophies and took them bitches to Europe and sold them motherfuckers as trophies. They still got them in their museums and shit. Big ass giant crocodiles of a goddamn native chief who rode that bitch into combat, and they shot his crocodile, broke his heart, and then pissed him off, and he went Hail Mary on their ass. It's the culture, man. It's the culture. All of the people we don't remember. And it's really distressing to me that we don't fucking remember who we is. Like, and this shit not even a mystery to me, but to some of us, we want to fight a motherfucker that we are unapologetically black, that we unapologetically African, and that we unapologetically gonna vote. And don't none of that shit got nothing to do with us. And we own that shit more than the motherfuckers who brought it over here and gave it to us. Not only do we own it, we make that shit look cool, and we make that shit look sweet as fuck, because we the baddest motherfuckers on this bitch. We the salt of the earth. All the great motherfuckers around the world came from over here. What the fuck? Okay, Inky did produce some bad motherfuckers over in the land of the motherfucking Abzu, what we call Africa today. Ethiopia, right? This is where we get our black root science from. Yep. But when it talk about raw talent, the most creative motherfuckers, we talking about these motherfucking feather wearing, Mardi Gras attending, matriarch honoring, motherfucking click up, fight against each other all day, but fight the enemy together all goddamn night. Them motherfuckers, us. Don't like my brother touching my shit. Don't mind giving my brother my shit. Right? That all that shit. But we always been the most good-hearted people that the planet produced, because we always came in good faith with open arms with no agenda. The enemy came in bad faith with his arms crossed in a whole bucket full of agendas that they wanted us to meet. We just didn't have the right chiefs on the land at the time. So I inherited Chief Pontiac's position by blood and by right. I can't help it. I don't have to want this shit. I did not want none of this shit. I was like, fuck these niggas. These niggas love this shit called suffering. Nobody told you. Misery, motherfucker. This the chapter. And the only way out of misery is to embrace the wings of love. Motherfucker get lifted up out this bitch. Figuratively speaking. It's the social condition created to block the mind from accessing the resources of the land. We keep falling for it. So that's it for me tonight, y'all. Message in the public domain. All the workers should be aware. If they ain't, they'll figure it out, because they're gonna have to vote some on if they want to buy the company or let it go belly up. Or let another third party investor come in and dictate to them. But they will have the means when these secret coffers of stolen worker wealth has been we'll use the means from there. All the shit they was stealing from the workers, the ones that life insurance didn't even know they was cashing in a secondary life insurance policy or something called a products holders insurance policy on the worker. So while they doing all this dirt shit in the back, this dirtbag shit, I'm just letting y'all know that shit ain't gonna move. Like I know what's going on, but I'm really removed from the situation because they thought I was a fucking bat fucking lunatic when I'm sitting here trying to fight for them. But remember, go back to the audacity of the leader. I ain't never asked for this shit. I just was the most qualified, and that's your asking for shit. See, when you be studying shit, this why motherfuckers don't want to know nothing. When you be studying shit, and you just living your life, and you just trying to build yourself to be a better person today than you was yesterday, then sometime along you created something. You didn't build yourself up to so much importance or value, I should say, intrinsic value. That innate value has increased to such a level that the universe find fit to throw your ass in the motherfucking dogfight at the front of the goddamn pack. Yeah, we gonna send you in because you the only motherfucker know all this shit. And that's why we don't want to know nothing. Because we don't want to be the one throw it in the dogfight. Nigga, I'm about this motherfucking life. But I don't want to do a knowledge fight. I want to fight. Fuck this knowledge shit. I mean, like, I do that shit because I'm trying to build me. But I want a motherfucking nigga. Let's go down here to the gym, put on these goddamn gloves, or get in this octagon. Let's grapple, motherfucker. Let's hit me in the face, make me feel some pain, turn my motherfucking spit red while I fatten your motherfucking eye. That kind of shit. Nope. We want you brain banging. What the fuck is that shit? Nigga, we said we need you brain bang. We need you to hit them books. Oh, wait. No, wait. What you mean hit them books? Like study? Like, you mean like them college kids do? Like that kind of study? Like, I do that shit for fun. That's not, I want to get into the motherfucking blah, shoot them up, bang, knife fights. Hey, we don't bang like that no more, brother. That was when we didn't know what the fuck was happening. We need somebody to hit the books. Like, god damn, you motherfuckers. How do you switch the game up and I'm coming out this motherfucker game pit ready to fight, tail up, ready to scratch out, motherfucking baby blue prairie dog out this motherfucker. And then you tell me some shit about brain banging? Nigga, I wanted to be out in the street knocking around on the knockaround. What the fuck you mean? Brain? I'm like, make this shit fit in my mind where I understand what you're saying. Like you mean I gotta know more shit than everybody else. That's basically what you're saying, right? So if I know more shit than everybody else, then I already know the shit they gon' know when they ever try to figure it out. So I'll be able to already tell them what to look for. Pretty much. Nigga, I can't, that's not fair. I want to fight, motherfucker. What's this cave shit? That's part of the brain banking. You got to be in the cave of the ancient. I'm like, man, y'all motherfuckers. Then they'll tell me some John Wick shit, rules. The only thing that separate the gods from the animals. What the fuck is you talking about, motherfucker? The motherfucking animals got rules. Then they follow them better than the humans. Yeah, we the gods, but that's for them down there. That ain't got nothing to do. Wait a minute, now I'm confused. What's the difference in a god and a human? And how do I determine which is which? Right? Because they already told me it ain't about skin color. They already told me it ain't about hair texture. They already told me it ain't about motherfucking how tall you is, how short you is. They say it's about some shit that's in you that ain't in everybody. It's that shit you can't teach a motherfucker. It's just naturally there. And whatever it is, you know it's there, but you can't quite figure it out, but you want to develop it because you know that if you ever get it developed, it's going to be some motherfucking shit to behold. So you sitting there like, what the fuck is this shit? These motherfuckers are sending me on a dummy mission. They sending me on a dummy mission. They trying to keep me out of the mix. Okay. So I go on about my business and hit my books. I'm trying to figure out, like, I got hands, right? Like my hands is legendary. And you want me to hit the books. Like, that's Shaolin shit. I don't want to hit. No, like, open the motherfucker, cover the cover, read that motherfucker. That's what you mean, hit the books? Like, yeah. Man, all right, man. Whatever y'all say, I'm just going to follow the instruction. That's all we need you to do. When the time comes, you're going to know what to do. You're going to know how to do it. You're going to know why you're doing it. You're going to know who you're doing it for. But in the meantime, do what you got to do. My motherfucking ass in here working 412 shifts, right? So we work 412, then we off 3 days. So during the 412s, I'm fucking tired, but I'm on that computer reading my ass off. Now remember, I just did 16 years of jail where I done read like 3-4 libraries. Read that shit up. Now I'm in the street. I'm going to the university on $1 of General Motors. And they thought that I was going to allow them to skin flint me out of my money without getting compensated. I knew they was stealing from me the whole fucking time. But I also knew that I was making them pay for everything they was stealing from me, because everything they took from me in dollars, I took it back in data. Pure, raw, unadulterated information on a layered build across 4 fucking departments, from the body to the paint to the interior to the goddamn chassis. Drop that bitch on the fast track at the end of the line. Tell them to ship that bitch to Bay 4. I'm coming to get my goddamn Grand National. Soon as these motherfucking auto workers get this shit right, soon as they understand what the power of unity can do for them, as soon as them motherfuckers wake up to what's going on in the world around them, I don't know if it's going to happen in the next 8 years, but whenever it happens, I mean, I don't got no faith in no motherfucker waking up no more. If a motherfucker ain't woken up, I got no motherfucking misgivings about they might never ever wake up. They might just be an NPC, a non-player character, and they might just go on about their day-to-day motherfucking mechanical ass life with no flavor, zing, zest, or none of that shit to it. But me, I want some flavor. I want some zing. I want some zest, some pizzazz, some razzmatazz, and all that shit added to mine. I want to motherfucking go places, do stuff, see people, talk to people, learn from people, listen to people, talk to people. I want to be fucking wade in waters in different parts of the world. Man, fuck that dumb shit. I don't want that mechanical ass life. I'm not a goddamn mechanical motherfucker. But this motherfucking Earth shit, like the way they got this shit set up now, and the way they layered all of the ancient civilizations on top of each other for the record, in the fossil record, like this is some fascinating fucking shit when you really studying this shit. Like when you get out of the part where you have to debate every topic with somebody and you can just analyze some shit from multiple standpoints, when you realize that the flat earth are right and the round earth are right, that's when your noodle bakes. When you realize that the motherfuckers that think the earth is a flat plane is absolutely correct, and the motherfuckers that think that the earth is a globe is absolutely correct at the same time, you're going to be fucked up. You're going to bake your noodle, because then you're going to look at the particle physics representation of a wavicle and you're going to be like, holy fucking shit, wait a minute. So they just seeing it from different parts of the goddamn spectrum. And then you're going to go, it's just hilarious. Yeah, so, I mean, look, the ice wall ain't what y'all, it's not an ice wall. I keep telling people this, and they always come on my videos like they haven't heard me say this if they've been watching. The ice wall is not a wall, right? There's not one single person ever told you they touched the goddamn globe that's supposed to be the dome. Not one motherfucker ever told you that shit. Now you got motherfuckers that didn't say they didn't travel from the North Pole to the South Pole, down the Pacific and Atlantic sides of the planet. You got them motherfuckers. You do not have one motherfucker that ever, you don't have a pilot that ever bumped into the fucking dome. There's not one pilot that said, yeah, I was flying and bumped into the dome. You don't have that shit. But one thing you do have to indicate the dome, but it don't got nothing to do with the dome, it's the Pleiadian light lock. And it's also the protection mechanism for the hologram, what they called Operation Fishbowl. You think they were shooting those missiles to bust through the firmament. That's what they told you. Because we already fought the flat earth thing before Columbus came to America, but y'all forgot that part. So when they were shooting at the Dark Knight satellite. The hologram has a built-in safety mechanism where if anything in the hologram attempts to destroy the hologram protects itself by nullifying the event. That's the way this shit works. Like, nobody not gonna never give you the tools to destroy the prison that they put you in. Every motherfucker in prison know if he need to protect himself, he better learn how to make a shank. Every motherfucker in prison know that if he ain't got his physical fitness on par, he gonna get outworked when it comes to scrapping. Every nigga in that joint know that. It's the same way. We still in the penitentiary. We on a prison planet. Shout out to Alex Jones, crazy ass. On this prison planet, there's a system of setup to keep you in prison. Now, you have to be willing to accept the prison in order for the prison to hold you. This is the same as accepting the contracts to keep the system alive. It's the same exact script. It's just told from two different angles. If you want to break free, everything they gave you is exactly what not to use. Because everything they gave you to break free with, they told you how to fight for your freedom. Right? They told you you got to vote. They told you that you needed a civil war in order to establish yourself as part of this government. This is what they told you. And they've been lying the whole goddamn time. The only motherfucker in the public domain that I can prove the fastest is the messenger. Told you how to be free. And he told it in one sentence. Accept your own and be yourself. Garvey said it a different way. He say, don't trust them assimilationist ass Negroes. That's what Garvey told you to look. Garvey said, beware of the assimilationist Negro. Right? We thought he was at the time was talking about Du Bois. Right? This was at the time that was written, our people was under the social influence that Garvey, Blue House, was at war with Du Bois, Red House. No. You can't win no war fighting internal conflicts like that. What they was doing is two different generals is fighting a different part of the fight from a different angle. This is what you're looking at. This is why both of them is classified as the founder of Pan-Africanism around the same time, but they wasn't working directly together. That's what you call push-pull. It's a Tai Chi. It's a Tai Chi energy exchange. So they got to get our people to shake loose from the slumber. When we already been in this, at this time, over 100 and something years of this amnesia conjure. So that's like 3 or 4 generations. And now our people got to try to come out of that shit. And all of us can't wake up at the same time. Elijah Muhammad explains why. He said if we all woke up at the same time, we would just tear this bitch up. And he said force and power without direction is total destruction. So Elijah Muhammad raised by stage and degree and levels, according to the understanding of the individual. Once they get to he don't have to give nobody no orders. Once they get to their level of development where they functional, they automatically see a hole in the game. A Hulan Mitchell, Hebrew Israelite hole in the game. Right? Bilal, Bilal Phillips, Siraj Wahaj, Orthodox Islam. But them niggas got seduced by that motherfucking baby rape shit. They heavy into that marrying girls at 8 and 9 years old. Them niggas, and they be talking about Malachi York, them niggas condone that shit. Them niggas will kill you about them pale Arabs. And them pale Arabs is the ones that's feeding these motherfuckers in the pedophile cult. You don't know what's going on and then all this dirt. But the ones who were sent out that did it right, Clarence 13X, Hulan Mitchell, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, right? Did it right. Farrakhan, he did it right. Silas Muhammad, he did exactly what every base got to fucking be covered. We need a network of communication among the elders that's becoming elders. So we growing into becoming an elder. We need a way to overcome we not finna stay oppressed. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. No. Noble Drew Ali came in, he was what you call a cold cracker. When Noble Drew Ali got here in 1900s, we was what you call dead to the world. Mentally, we had been beat so bad, we was dead. Psychologically dead. We didn't have, only thing that we had going for us at the time, Noble Drew Ali came to find out what the problem was. Because he didn't know what was going on when he was 13, 14. He didn't know what the fuck was going on. But he knew something wasn't right as early as a young boy, but he just didn't know what the fuck was going on. It's the same way when I was waking up, I'm seeing shit that I know that's out of order. I can't say nothing about it. I'm fucking 8 years old. I'm 7 years old. I'm 9 years old. Nobody want to hear me telling them to fix this shit. I ain't no boy king in this modern society. I can't run around giving Tupac fucking orders like I'm motherfucking King Tut or something. No, I can't make them motherfuckers move like that. Because I had to go through a process. My process ain't like nobody else's process. Because I got to see everybody's angle without taking sides. And this is the 1,000 points of light, which is the 1,000 doctrines of deception. And these 1,000 doctrines of deception can be exposed with 1,000 doctrines of truth or 1,000 points of truth. And so when we came into the combat, I told Farrakhan, I said, shit, on the code, when we didn't talk to channel, I was like, I don't want nothing to do with these niggas. Fuck these niggas. Next thing I know, he came out and said, yeah, God mad at y'all motherfuckers. He said, y'all don't want to. And I'm like, whoa. I didn't know that you heard that for real. But so they sent me on the mission to do some shit called brain banging. In the process, the people that I work with became an extended family. We call it the work family. I will F you up about them people at work. And the enemy to the people I was working with was international, what we call sellouts, right? Traitors that was embezzling and taking bribes. And then before those 3 CEOs that was there at the last negotiation was put in place, all of the prior CEOs was goddamn con artists in CEO suits. Put there by some motherfuckers who said, milk them for all they worth and you can keep what's left. And that's what they did. Milk the workers for all they was worth. Now it's the point to, now they all got caught in their acts. It's when they continued that negotiation after they was put on notice and they knew that they had lost the appearance of propriety because of an active investigation, I told the workers, I'm good now. Whatever they do, I looked out for you motherfuckers on a level y'all won't comprehend for 25 years. Y'all don't have to understand it because the tribal rules say if the chief know the problem and the solution, he's obligated to offer the solution. He don't have to be the one implementing it. I just got to show you where it was fixed at. I did my due diligence to protect the people I worked with because I worked with them. I sweat next to them. I ate lunch with them. Some days we ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner together at the job. I went to picnics with them people. I held them people's babies at the picnics. I played games at them people's houses that I worked with. Them people didn't have to accept me. My own people didn't want to be bothered with me, but my work family still accepted me. Some of them to this day say, yeah, I love that motherfucker, but he crazy as hell because they don't know what the fuck I see. But all them people know that if they were the ones who knew me, knew if they'd have listened to me right now, all them motherfuckers would be happy with their positions and their jobs. And they wouldn't be going through none of this shit. But because they couldn't see what I was telling them, right? Like my man Kellerman, he was telling them the same shit. Right? Kellerman was telling them, like, look, they selling us out. What we supposed to do? And it's real simple. All the chairmen were supposed to call their people in and tell them, look, they asking us what we want, and International doesn't have a list of demands. They going in waiting on the corporation to give them a list of shit they gonna give them. All the chairmen don't know because he ain't part of the negotiating committee. That's why they was isolated. So now none of the chairmen are close enough to the negotiators to know the dirt going on down in downtown Detroit. They just far enough not to know. And we wanted the negotiations where every chairman would be the audience. And then y'all sit up there and hash out this shit. Fuck that bullshit there. Because them secret squirrel negotiations is what's getting the people raped. Financially raped. And then we sit here, see the shit, try to warn them, but they so scared of losing their job because the power of the union has been usurped by traitors. And the union can't even give you the security to fight for your job no more. Because now they got you what they call bifurcated unions, broke up in the park. Where's the solidarity in that shit? Right? You used to couldn't walk in that door unless you was management, you couldn't come in that door if you wasn't part of the unionized labor force. Everything was in-house. It wasn't because they was being greedy. It was because every worker was looking out for every other worker. Right? So y'all gotta remember that. They can't fucking do nothing but bow down to y'all in the end, to the worker. That's all they can do. The big three gonna have to bow down to y'all in the end. Now, I'm trying to make them bow down and bow the fuck out and give y'all the whole motherfucking shebang. That's what I would like to see. But y'all gotta have enough stern conviction to fight for what's right and what you believe in to influence the motherfucker that work next to you to feel the same way. Because there ain't no motherfucking way you realizing that these motherfuckers taking bread out your baby mouth and you good with it. They got to keep that shit a secret. Dirty ass motherfuckers. So peeps, this is about the 5th time I've been leaving. But this is a wrap. I'm gonna do Q&A, open discussion, chiefing with the chief, either tomorrow or Saturday night, depending on how beat I am after my labors tomorrow. So either tomorrow night or Saturday night. I'm doing chiefing with the chief, open discussion, whatever y'all want to talk about. Peace out for the 5th, 6th, 7th, or 9th, or however fucking many times I said it. But, yep, I'm going to save the live, watch the replay, Leave a comment. I'm flipping out on the 7-7 on the flip. I gotta take a screenshot of this shit. Peace, fam.